What is something people need to stop romanticizing? Lack of sleep. Ridiculously expensive weddings. Average cost of a wedding in my state is around $60,000. A lot of people take out loans and debt for one day of living way outside their means. Living those overly stressed lifestyles. Especially in college. Congratulations on your pulling the 6th full-nighter to cram even more for your finals, but I'd rather get a decent night's sleep and study with a clear brain. Falling in love with a bad boy and hoping he'll change his ways for you. Bipolar disorder is not chic. Don't romanticize toxic relationships. Or relationships of any kind that don't benefit either of the parties. Both people in a relationship need to be comfortable and happy with one another, otherwise it's a shit show. Edit, holy shit, this blew up my first popular comment. Thanks guys for the very entertaining thread I woke up to. Serial killers. It's important to educate people about them, but the people who talk about wanting to fuck them online are crazy. Mental health problems. Stockholm Syndrome. Anxiety. I'm sure someone else has already said this, but it can be said again. People on the internet seem to think it's some kind of trend to have anxiety and panic attacks, and they throw terms around like it's nothing. Anxiety isn't a joke, and it isn't something people should claim to have without any reason other than that they feel stressed out. Also, I totally understand that there are plenty of people on the internet who really do have anxiety, but I've seen my fair share of people who are very clearly faking it. Abusive relationships. If you're constantly arguing about anything and everything, calling each other names, causing drama for the sake of it, or guilt-tripping each other to do what you want, then you're not good together. Both or only one of you doing this is not okay and not cute. It's abuse. Also, mental illness and faking it for attention. Being overly busy, committing to everything someone asks for. People who have things, activities every night and weekends stress me out. Be at peace, just learn to be at peace. Child beauty pageants. Drug abuse as a way to deal with mental health in rap. Possessive behavior. No, it's not cute when your significant other gets jealous because of everyone that looks at you, it's freaking sick. I mean, honestly, if you don't trust me enough to know I would not cheat on you, we should see other people. Earlier times. People just forget the bad stuff and never consider that it was bad back then too. First time sex, sometimes it doesn't go well, and that is okay. War. Poverty. Love at first sight. Not that romantic, it's just physical attraction. Lucky you if that person is also someone you end up having lots in common with. Fighting, it's not cool getting almost killed and left with several inner bleedings. Staying at work late. So many people do it and brag about it, but at me it's saying you can't get your shit done during normal business hours, so either you are dumb, lazy, or overworked. None of which is something to be proud of. The latter probably matches up with toxic work environment where managers get all pissy if they see people leave before 5 or EOB. One of my old VPs put it this way for me: I don't care when you show up or leave, just get your shit done. I'm gonna get what I need from you. Drinking. The abusive relationship between Joker and Harley Quinn. Pets. I know sounds ridiculous, but there is no such thing as an easy pet. And it's not guaranteed you will get a cuddly dog, cat, bunny, fish. Those stories where some kid sells lemonade to pay for their mom's cancer treatment. That's a failure of a system, not a feel-good story. Having children, and I'll explain. I know a lot of people that aren't ready to have children, mostly because they are poor. But because they see their friends or other family members having kids, and they want one, so they have one. Then their lives, and the child's, are ruined forever. Stop having children if you can't take care of them. Abusive controlling relationships. i.e. Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey. No one would stay with those creeps in real life. Being OCD. There's a difference between being neat and particular and a clean freak and having crippling, unwanted thoughts, behaviors and actions. In one case you're just extremely anal. The other, more serious case, you have a genuine mental health diagnosis. Child abuse presented as a good parenting technique back in my day. Whenever someone says, "When I was a kid, I got whipped with a belt every day, and I turned out just fine," it makes me want to whip them with my belt to remind them just how awful it felt. And really, Larry, did you turn out just fine, because the evidence shows otherwise? Affairs. Depression and other mental illnesses. Cynicism under the guise of realism. I often see younger people acting jaded in what I suspect is a defense against being seen as childish. The unromantic skeptic is himself romanticized. Flashy displays of wealth and the celebrities that take part. The worst has to be singing about it. Act like you've been there before. Humble up. Think about what you can do for others, not just masking your insecurities. I've seen some movies where a guy kidnaps a girl and she falls in love with him. Why? Depression and suicide. It's not charming, it's not poetic. It sucks and is not cool. The Confederate States of America. Vaping, yes, it's healthier than cigarettes, and I definitely do want people who are smoking to try switching to vaping for their health, but kids are getting an addiction at a very young age. Nicotine is extremely addicting, guys. It took me really long to break my habits, and it has affected my mental and physical health so much to stop smoking. The loss of good men in brutal wars. Proposing in front of a large group of people. Anxiety, sick of people making anxiety look all cute and adorable when in reality it's panic attacks and the crippling pressure of overthinking on a constant, leaving you exhausted but won't let you sleep because you're still panicking. Thinking that when a woman says no she's just playing hard to get. I'm pretty sure it was already mentioned, but still. Fighting for love, and by this I mean fighting with the person you like. The thing that should be romanticized is mutual respect. The way society is obsessed with personality, regardless of character or even competency. Getting recognition and rising in the ranks is more about how you can sell a pen, rather than productivity or expertise. God forbid you end a meeting without making a decision on a complex problem that requires research. You're seen as wishy-washy. They're going to go ahead with the plan from the guy confident in running the train off the tracks. Expensive shoes. Like, I don't care about your overpriced Yeezys. Oh, and don't get me started on diamonds. Depression and suicide. 13 Reasons Why is the most bullshit excuse story I've seen projected out there to my recent knowledge. I stomached 45 minutes of this bullshit and I refuse to watch any more. It doesn't even deserve a second season because it's just going to mislead more people into understanding the turmoils a depressed individual is dealing with. Everything in that show is not as convenient as it likes to seem. It's based off a book too, which is even more insulting because I doubt the book even gets anything right too. No, depressed and suicidal people aren't like Jigsaw from the Saw series, who make cassette tapes containing recordings just to make people feel bad that they've got pushed to the edge. They are not that scheming. Every day to a suicidal, depressed person's life is a constant struggle, a struggle that may or may not see no end. A series of tidal waves of emotions crashing into them, and they're out there swimming in the thick of it, gasping for air as they struggle to swim. They reach suicide when they absolutely feel like the world has given up on them, including those who've had long tenures with them like friends. Stop buying into 13RW's bullshit already. The good old days. They weren't. Paris. Once you get past the touristy stuff, it's just a big city with big city problems. And the Eiffel Tower is like a giant electrical grid. Female characters being abusive to their boyfriend isn't abuse, it's romantic. Suicide. The mommy needs wine movement. Your kids will be shitheads, sometimes it's all part of it. If they're shitheads all the time, that's your fault, and if you're drinking all the time to deal with them, then you have a problem and it's not funny. Sports. The sports themselves are okay, people liking sports is fine. But when you treat athletes different from other people just because they play football, that's the problem. Drug addiction. Suicide. Go listen to Neon Gravestones by 21 Pilots. The 1950s. Big pickup trucks. Mufflerless motorcycles. Money won't buy happiness. Bullshit. Having money to the point where I won't stress about debts or where I can pursue my interests without having to divert the time to work will indeed give me happiness. Even something materialistic like buying something you really want can bring happiness in a way. Thanks for watching. What would be your response? Leave it in the comments and see what the others say. Please also like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Until next time, take care.